right, protect yourself at all times. We are on it. Here we go. Ron Futrell with the latest edition of the Vegas Sportscast for this Wednesday. And a busy Tuesday it was, and a lot of stuff going on to tell you about. National Finals Rodeo in town. Let's see. We've got Vegas Golden Knights last night with another win at home. This one had some unique things to it. We'll tell you in a moment. And also Rebel basketball with another victory last night, playing at the MGM Grand Garden with that game. Okay. Start you off with the Knights. Fun game last night. Fun game. Full house, packed house at what they call the Castle, now T-Mobile Arena, where the Vegas Golden Knights win in a shootout. First ever shootout at home. They did have a shootout on the road. They lost at Toronto, but a shootout at home, and they win this one over the Anaheim Ducks. I still want to say Mighty Ducks. Yeah, you get that, but they're the Ducks now. Disney does no longer owns them. Disney no longer owns them, so they are just the Ducks. But anyway, good tough opponent for the Knights last night. They've now beaten the Ducks twice, but this came down to Knights scored 2 goals at the end of the first period within 15 seconds, okay, of each other. So they're up 2-0. Go to the second period. By the third period, they're down 3-2 late in the game. Get a goal to tie it at 3 apiece. Go into overtime. And an overtime, 5-minute overtime, 3-on-3. It's one of the most exciting things in sports to watch an overtime period in the NHL. And a lot of scoring opportunities. Malcolm Subban was rock star in the nets. Then ends up with no score in the 5-minute overtime period with a 3-on-3. And then they go into the shootout period, and the way that works, the shootout in the NHL, 3 chances. Each team gets 3 chances. They alternate the opportunities, and the first one to take the advantage wins after they do a round. Okay, so 3 rounds. First 2 rounds, neither team scored. And then Alex Tuck got a puck in the net to be able to give the Golden Knights a 1-0 lead in the shootout, but then Malcolm Subban had to make the stop, which he did. And so it was just Alex Tuck to be able to get that goal, and then also Subban in the nets was just incredible last night. Just incredible. And remember, he's the backup goalie. So he's with Marc-Andre Fleury in the number 1 spot. Malcolm Legacy is going to be the odd man out when Fleury returns. And I mentioned yesterday, Fleury, I'd love to see that December 14th date against Pittsburgh. Not sure if he'll be ready to play against his old team, but that would be fun to see Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins go up against Marc-Andre Fleury with the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, he won 3 Stanley Cups with the Penguins, and he was instrumental last year in their Stanley Cup victory when he went in for Daniel Murray when he got injured in the net. So that Vegas Golden Knights just continue to excite people. 17-9-1 is their record right now in solid second place behind the LA Kings in the Western Conference right now, Pacific Division. So as they continue now, they got a short little road trip and then come back home middle of next week for a couple of games. So that's what they've got, Vegas Golden Knights. Just fun to watch what they did last night. Rebel basketball played at T-Mobile Arena, 92-66 over Oral Roberts. So they went big. As expected, they were 17.5-point favorites. So they went big over Oral Roberts, and now we're 7-2 on the season, scoring the 90s again. They just keep doing that, okay? Just keep doing it. And it was, I'll tell you one thing, on a negative side, was seeing how few people showed up for that game. No, that was not good. Okay, there were so few fans in the stands for that game. I'll call it embarrassing. Now, I know it was at the MGM Grand, not at the Thomas and Mack, so that was different. You had to buy tickets separately to go to this game. But I haven't seen announced attendance anywhere because they probably don't want to announce the attendance because there were so few people there. But that was not a pretty sight to see a lot of empty green seats. That's the color of the seats there in the MGM Grand Garden, but all those empty green seats there for that game. The reason they're playing there is the National Finals Rodeo is in town, so I'll get to that in a second. But that was disappointing to see this, especially how well this team is playing right now under Marvin Menzies. But it is what it is. You had a Tuesday night, had a lot of people who were at the Vegas Golden Knights. That was sold out again. And fewer people at UNLV because you had to buy the ticket separately, and it was at a different location, the MGM. So all of those things, and against Oral Roberts, not a great opponent. That could change. Now we'll see what happens on Friday night. They take on Illinois. Yeah, you've heard of the Illini, haven't you? So out of the Big 12. It'll be or is it Big 10 still? Where would they go? What do they change? They keep changing. Yeah, out of the Big 10. So we'll see what they can do with that matchup against Illinois. And I haven't seen odds out on yet. There won't be odds on that until Friday. So Illinois out of the Big 10. Got the matchup coming up on Friday for Rebel basketball. We'll see what Marvin Minzy and the gang can do. I mentioned National Finals Rodeo in town. That begins tomorrow night. Thursday night is the first go-round for the rodeo, and they get going. It's 2 weeks of craziness, fun, Cowboys, Vegas, interesting stuff. So if you have you would have tickets already, or you'd be interested and you would know that it's happening because you can't get tickets for this. This is sold out every night at the Thomas & Mack. They got the dirt in there now. They've moved that in. It's been an event that's been here since 1985. December was dead before the rodeo, and it now has brought a great event here to town. So Vegas needs the rodeo now. And the rodeo needed Vegas. It bumped up the stature of the National Finals Rodeo to the Super Bowl for Cowboys is what it's called. So got that happening. So a lot going on here Vegas sports-wise. The Raiders play at Kansas City this weekend. Raiders are 4-point underdogs in the game at Kansas City and battling for first place. Kansas City, San Diego, and the Raiders. Crazy AFC West, what's happened there this year and how teams have come and gone. Chargers started out horribly. The Chiefs started out great. Raiders started out, they went 2-0 and then hit a down streak after an injury to Derek Carr. But keep an eye on the Raiders. See what happens. Final game of the season, by the way, for the Raiders, regular season, and Chargers at San Diego on New Year's. San Diego. At L.A. Two days in a row I made that mistake, but that's going to be a while. At L.A. because they're now the L.A. Chargers in the StubHub Center there. And they've got that game that might be for a playoff spot. Might be for a playoff spot right there. The Raiders have the toughest schedule of these three teams going down the stretch because they play 3 of their final 4 games at home. So that's their dilemma. LA Rams still looking good, doing well, playing tough, and got Philadelphia at home this weekend. Oh, yeah, got the Eagles at home. That will be a tough one. That'll be a fun one. 2 of the top teams in the NFC right there. And the Eagles are only -1 in that game at the Coliseum. 2 high-scoring teams. The total on that one's going to be pretty high. So that's it for your sports for this Wednesday morning. Ron Futrell, 8 News Now. Give a listen, tell a friend, let people know that you can download this at just about anywhere. iTunes, we're on iTunes. We've got Google Play. Also, of course, let's see, iHeartRadio. We got a lot of hits from iHeartRadio. Or you can go to our website, thevegassportscast.com, or check us out on Twitter, Vegas Sportscast. Okay, is where we're at. But thanks for listening. Tell a friend, let people know about it, and download it so it comes down on a regular basis, and we'll be doing these more often. That's the way I see it. I'm Ron Futrell. Everybody have a nice Wednesday.